What's up, guys? Welcome back to another daily Bible reading snapshot. Today, we're finishing the book of Esther and finding out what happens to all these characters. What happens to Esther? What happens to the king? What happens to Mordecai? What happens to Haman? Well, we're going to find out all of that today. So let's check it out. In verse number 1 of chapter 7, it says, they went to another feast. So, another feast. We got another thing going on, another banquet, another party. I think this is party number 3 at this point, I'm pretty sure. If you keep track, if you can find more parties in Esther, let me know in the comments, I guess. So it says that at this party, Esther finally does what she was supposed to do. She's trying to get this done to tell the king about Haman's plot. So she doesn't do it just by simply going to the king and telling him, hey, Haman's trying to do this. She could have done that, but instead she decides to have this party, and she is about to have the king offer her, okay, I'll do anything for you. And she tells him at this point, there's this person who's trying to annihilate all of my people. They're trying to kill everyone that belongs to my heritage. They want to kill me. They want to kill everyone, my family, everybody. And they've signed a decree and it's going to happen. And he says, who is it? Who would do such an evil thing against my queen? And she points to the guy sitting next to him. It's Haman. Haman, the foe, an enemy, the wicked Haman. And at this point, it says the guy named Haman, he was terrified before the king and queen. Because after experiencing all this good stuff and thinking he's the best person in the world, the queen says, it's that guy right there. He's the one that's trying to kill us. And he freaks out. It says so much so that he's like begging her. The king goes away. He's so mad. He just gets up. He's furious. He tries to leave. He's so mad at Haman. And he comes back and he finds Haman like grabbing onto Esther's arm and like, no, please, please. And he's like, are you kidding me? You're beating up my wife here. You're assaulting my wife. Are you kidding me? Get out. So he gets him thrown out and he hangs him on the gallows that he had in his front lawn. So, yeah, the dude had people to be hanged in his front lawn. So the king says, okay, yeah, hang him there. Boom, done. And he's dead. So crazy thing happens here. Okay. But the problem's not over, because remember that order was given to kill all the Jews throughout the whole empire. So Haman's taken care of. And it says that in fact, Esther was set over the house of Haman. So the king says, here, take Haman's stuff. It's all yours, Esther. You can have all of it. You can do whatever you want with it. So she gives it to her uncle, Mordecai. He's going to be in charge of all of this. So the problem still is, how can we take care of all these other Jews throughout the whole empire? Well, that's the next thing. The king gives the signet ring, which is basically like it was a ring, probably signet ring, with the king's seal on it, to where before, Haman could sign anything, and it basically came from the king. It came with all the authority of the king. Now he gave that to Mordecai. Now Mordecai can do and write something that comes with all the authority of the king. And the king says, yes, go save your people. Write whatever you need to write. You can sign my name at the bottom. It all comes from me. So that's what Mordecai does. And on their order is not, don't kill the Jews. The order, in fact, is for the Jews that they can retaliate and they can take out anybody who's trying to attack them. So it's not that the Jews just want to go and attack everybody. It's just that they will attack the people who are going to attack them. So at this point, it's not that we had like one order and then a reversal of that order. It's that we have one order and then a second order that are in opposition to each other. So the problem is that the Jews still might get beat in this little mini battle, so to speak. So what happens next is, on the day that was set for them to be destroyed, it says that God was with these Jewish people and all the people that came to attack them. The Jews took mastery over them. They beat them up. They killed them. And it says in the city of Susa alone. So this big city, thousands and thousands of people, obviously, probably hundreds of thousands of people in the city. It says that 500 people were killed because they tried to attack the Jews. Now you might say, wow, that's a lot. Well, that's nothing compared to the amount of people that were attacked throughout the whole empire. 75,000 people were killed by the Jews when they came to be attacked. So remember, this is not the Jews going out and just killing everybody they want to. It's not conquest like that. This is a self-defense thing. So they're killed and they were able to take their stuff, the plunder. And it says even at the beginning, they weren't in it for the money. They weren't in it for the plunder. So they didn't even lay hands on it at the beginning. So it says that this thing was going to be remembered by all the Jews, where Esther saved the Jews, and really God orchestrated all this. They're going to celebrate it through a festival they were going to call Purim, and they still celebrate that festival today. Jesus celebrated this festival during the time of his living on earth. So all these things take place. And I think the big overarching story is God is going to protect his people. God is going to defend his people from enemies. I mean, think about all the things that have happened, all the opponents of the Jewish people from the time of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. I mean, you got these Egyptians that are trying to take them out. You've got the Syrians from the north. You have the Moabites. You have the Assyrians from the north. You have the Babylonians, some of the Persians, right? Even though the Persians were actually really good to the Jews. You have all these people, the Agagites, right? You have an Agagite getting killed like this, which is interesting. King Agag, he was somebody who opposed the Jews. And you just see all this time after time. And even I think since then, you see all these people that want to take out the Jewish people. It does not work out well for them. God takes them out eventually. And that's one of the big lessons, that God is orchestrating all of this. So that's the book of Esther. And I know that might not sound like much, but we have just reached the end of the history of Israel. So tomorrow, what we're going to look at is the beginning of the poetry of Israel. So that is a significant portion of the Bible here. In my Bible, it's this much right here. That's a lot. That's what we've read so far from Genesis 1 to Esther chapter 10. We've finished the history section. Now we're going to move into a different section tomorrow, but super important. Thanks for reading along with us. I'm not done yet. That sounded like I was done. We're reading in the New Testament. We're reading Acts chapter 6, the whole chapter here. And there's a problem that takes place for these apostles. What's the problem? Well, some of the widows are not taken care of as well as some of the other ones. The Hellenistic widows are not being taken care of as well as the Hebrew widows. So these Hellenistic widows, they speak Greek. They're a little bit like one step separated from the center of this Jewish culture. So it says that they weren't treated as well. And they complain to the apostles, and the apostles say, okay, well, that's a problem. We need to deal with it, but none of us have time. We're preaching. We can't serve tables like this. We can't deliver the food. So we need to find people. Who are we going to find? They don't just say, well, find anybody you want. They find 7 men to be the administrators of this task, 7 righteous and godly men. And that's something I want you to note. When they look for servants for the church, who are they looking for? They're looking for the most righteous, the most God-fearing, the people with a good reputation, it says. So that's the qualifications for serving. They need to have a good reputation. So it says they find these people and they help out. And one of these people is named Stephen. And Stephen is going to take over for the next couple chapters. He is seized by the officials because he is getting in a debate with some of the Jews that come from these other people. So it's the foreign Jews. They have a debate with Stephen. Stephen stands up for the truth, and so much so, he stands before the council. And tomorrow we're going to read about his speech before the council of the Jewish leaders, the same council that we keep seeing where Jesus stood in front of them, that the apostles did, Peter did a couple times, and now Stephen's going to stand before them. But I think it's interesting that when we look at servants in the church, God wants righteous people with a good reputation to serve. And it's not just the apostles, it's not just the pastors, it's not just the high church leaders, it's everyone who serves. He wants you to have a good reputation. So if you're a person who's a Christian and you're trying to serve in your church, what kind of a person does God want you to be? One of the things he wants from you is for you to have a good reputation. He doesn't want people to have all these criticisms about you and all these slanders about you if they're true. So he says, good reputation. That's what we need to focus on. If we're a servant in the church, and I hope that you are, remember, God wants you to have a good reputation. So that's all we got today. Thanks for reading. We'll see you back tomorrow for another daily Bible reading snapshot.